Bang! We are recording. Hey, what's up, everybody? Larry Alston here. I am sitting here with the one and only Dan von Schaenzer-Man. And wait, you got to make a noise so they see you do that again. I don't think. Hold on. How do you make it? So, all right, guys, the date is March 5th of 2021. Dan has been doing glass for 17 years now. Just kidding. We've been doing glass for what? Over 3 years? Is it 3 years?
Over 3 years. I've been at, September of 17.
Wow.
So it'll be 4 years this September.
It'll be 4 years this September. So, okay. So, you guys, Dan came in. This is before we even launched Security Auto Glass, and he's got an incredible journey. He came in swinging right out of the gates, started working in Durand, I think. Durand was his first location, and then we immediately launched the Cincinnati shop, which was so he went from like just kind of getting started to bang, we got this monster 400, 300 car a day store in Cincinnati, and tried to juggle all that. And so what's cool about stuff like that is it teaches you all kinds of, lessons. But what sucks about stuff like that is when it doesn't work the way it's supposed to, and it doesn't go the way you want it to, man, the temptation for just getting your chops licked, or getting negative when you're getting your chops licked, rather, is very, very high. Dan has, over the years, navigated through these murky waters of victory, and then just devastating blows to cool victories against and more devastating blows. And what he's done a good job of is, in my opinion, navigating through these tranches, always coming out on the other side with the positive mental attitude, with the right perspective, reframing properly. And as you guys have all, whoever's been doing this long enough, within at least a month or longer, will know that, man, sometimes when you're going in there and there's no cars coming in, you're going, oh my goodness, what am I doing? Or whatever else, or something bad happens at home, or you get some devastating news, and like life happens. And so when you're going through these things, just regular life happening, weird curveballs in the field, losing an account, someone giving you super bad negative survey, I don't know, having back-to-back customers who just look at you like you're just the scum of the earth. Like, that stuff happens, man. And so there's all kinds of temptation to just be down, be negative, to feel like you don't like the job anymore. And it always results in production. So what I've seen Dan do, and early on, he used to call me, man, Larry, I'm real struggling with this. And we would talk through some things. And he would say, all right, okay, let me get my head on straight here. And then the next week, you go bust it out. And so I said, you know what, dude, I want to interview you because you, again, over the last almost 4 years, you've just done a good job. Ultimately, is whenever you got knocked down, you get back up. Whenever you had a curveball, you go back to the dugout and go, okay, I can't let this freak me out, and you still come out of the gate swinging. And it's not many people can do that. So I asked him to share, like, dude, how do you do that? How do you beat that mental demon that tries to convince you that either you're a loser, that your shop's a loser, that the people around you are losers, and this job is dumb? How do you beat that? So it's a very, very loaded question, but he's up for the task. So Dan, I'll turn it over to you, man. I appreciate you getting on this and doing this for us real quick.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you taking the time to hear what I have to say, because I usually have a lot to say, as everybody knows. So most that know me know I got a lot to say about everything and nothing. So, but for the most part, I think, most people come into this business because something else wasn't going right. And so I think once you start to run into these paper mache walls and these struggles that you go through mentally every day, you need to go back to why you even started or got involved in the first place. And I think everybody after sitting and watching someone or shadow someone for a day or two, sit there and like, this is the easiest thing I've ever seen in the world. It is always the easiest thing when you're brand new. What happens is nothing changes usually. 99% of the time, nothing changes in the lane. Everything changes up here. You start to get comfortable. You start to predict, oh, well, they did 20 cars yesterday, so they're probably only going to have 20 today. And you start to create bad habits unnaturally. And it's just kind of like our natural self starts coming out and creating these habits that actually start tanking our bank account and our performance and our customer reviews and all this kind of stuff. So what you have to do, and what I've always done, is if I get to a long period of extreme frustration, I take a time out. Like, I'll step outside the dealership. I'll go have a one-on-one talk with myself. I'll have a quick reminder of why I'm doing it. And to be honest with you, I'll even compare, what are my options? What else am I going to do? Am I going to go to a job where a guy tells me what to do 9 to 5 every day, never be able to have control of my schedule or be able to have the freedom that I have? And we have a lot of freedom here, but that also on the backside of the other side of the coin, that's also another issue, because if you don't have discipline, the freedom can destroy you. And so having those good reminders over and over again, and just reframing and just being disciplined. I'll be honest with you, like, 2020 messed me up. I took 2020 pretty hard, and I allowed the pandemic, the lower volume, and everything to really affect my performance. My chips were fine. My customer service was fine. But as far as my daily number performance, that went down drastically. And so I started going out into freak out mode, and what am I going to do? And then I started blaming the dealerships, and I started blaming the service managers. They're not bringing enough volume, instead of just reassessing and saying, how do I make the most out of what I got? And to be honest with you, like this week, I mean, I think Tuesday or Wednesday, I was at Crippen Auto Mall, which is a fantastic dealership. And they had like, I seen 26 cars between 7:30 and 2. And I did six repairs. So you don't have to blow the doors off off the car or anything like that. But 6 repairs over 26 cars looked at with not a single no, that's a pretty good day. And I rarely ever get no's. But I'll be honest with you, when I get no's, I take them pretty hard. I don't like being told no. But part of the maturity of the lane, again, is just learning how to let that water run off your back like a duck and keep moving forward and look for the next car. And I'll tell you what, and we can get to some other stuff, but I really have learned how to reframe, refocus, and just put in my perspective of why I'm doing it, what I'm doing it for. And yeah, it's glass. I know, like Neil says, it's not life changing, or however Neil says that we're putting glue in glass or whatever, but it's just a great opportunity to live your life how you want and also make a great income. And that's an instant good reminder right there, and put you right back in the focus. So as far as that goes, that is the main thing, having enough discipline to refocus. And honestly, think about what you're saying to yourself. Where is that coming from? Why are you saying it? Are there certain things you're unhappy with, or is there certain things at home that are causing this? So you can really dig deep in, and you can ask Ashley. I obsess over things that aren't going my way. I absolutely obsess over everything, and that's why I kind of lost control of my numbers in 2020, because I had no control over this pandemic or what people decided or what people decided was right or wrong, but I obsessed over it for a long time. And finally, I just let go of it. And I said, you know what? We're going to get out of this soon enough. I need to be A+ right now, so that when we get out, I'm better where I'm going to be, prefer to where I'm at.
So, okay, let me dig into that. So you were faced with your self-proclaimed biggest weakness, which is handling things that you can't control. So this pandemic forced you to look that beast in the mirror, and it took a lot. It took a lot out of you. But so how did you get to that? How did you get to that decision where, like, you absolutely detest the pandemic and what's going on with it, and forcing you to not be able to know what the next day is going to hold? If you're not in what's the word? How am I going to phrase that? Like, if you don't like when you can't control things, man, that had to have rocked your world, like you said. So how did you reframe that in that weakest moment of yours? How did you reframe that and come out of it strong?
So I'm currently taking a college writing class here at Spring Arbor, and we're reading this book about words and the value of words and how they've been devalued and watered down over history, and how now people say less. You know what I mean? And I wish I remember the name. I just finished a book 2 days ago and wrote a paper on it, but pretty much what it talked about in a chapter at the end. It talked about how it was actually the last chapter. It was talking about silence sometimes speaks more than everything else. And what it talked about is, because it was a revised issue, is that we have so much stuff going on that's taking our attention.
Yeah.
And sometimes like unaware, like why is this happening? So most of us have kids. We know how much how needy they are. Sometimes their spouses are needy. I'm the needy one of me and Ashley, so she gets distracted by me all the time. But what it came down to is I do this every month. I don't do it. I don't plan it or whatever, but there's always a period of time where I have a long trip over an hour, and I will sit in silence and just let God or myself speak to me. And it was actually on a trip to Whitmore Lake for a basketball tournament. I turned off the music for a little bit. Malachi was in the passenger seat listening to music, getting hyped up for the games and everything. And I'm sitting there, and I'm just driving, and all of a sudden, this voice said, "There is no way you're going to let this stupid pandemic get in your way anymore." And I'm sitting like, who's talking? You know, who said that? But anyways, what I did is I went back to this revaluing of my efforts. I'm like, Dan, you've never gotten kicked out of a dealership. Every dealership you've been to loves you. Every customer outside of the grumpy ones, which we have them all, love you and don't give you any pushback. You've never had any issues outside of yourself. So you were either designed or made for something like this. And so what I did is I started to tuck myself back in to that focus I had when I initially got into the business. And it was a long talk, but I contribute a lot of things to it, because the new year came and we'd been through this heck of a year. And I asked myself, I didn't make a New Year's resolution or do any of that stuff. I just said, what is the one thing I lack the most? That was my New Year's resolution. And I found out it was discipline. And I was eating what I wanted. I was sleeping in more. I wasn't working out as much, if at all, because I was like, well, coronavirus, I can't go to the gym. I mean, I could get sick, but then I'm going to work and I'm going to, like birthday parties and stuff. So what's the difference? I was pretty much pleasing my inner pleasures. So what I did is I had a long, hard talk with myself after the new year. And January 3rd, I started a cleanse, and I did all these things, and I've worked out 5 to 6 days a week since then at the gym. Every morning I wake up at 4:40. I get to the gym. I take a cold shower. So I sweat before I eat. I take a cold shower, and I get to work. And since then alone, even before this talk, I've been refocused because I'm alert, I'm awake, and I'm ready to take on the day. So that was a big discipline change right there. Then I had the talk with Whitmore Lake, or on the way to Whitmore Lake, which was the Dan versus Dan talk, and kicking the devil off the shoulder and all that kind of stuff. And so I started to be more disciplined. And then, Larry, not even till this week, I finally said, what is something I used to do that used to work? Because I can't set a goal for 80 a week or 40, even 30 a week. It kind of gets me discouraged when I say I'm getting 30 by Friday. It's a good to have. But when I do that and I have a bad day, I start to take the slope down mentally.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, now I'm short. What am I going to do? Now I set a daily goal, and it's realistic. Every day this week I said, I'm going to sell 6 a day. I'm not leaving until I sell 6 a day. And some days I stayed till 3 or 4, which I rarely ever do, but I had a goal. And those 2 days I stayed till 4. I ended up selling 1 extra one. And one day I got 5, one day I got 6. And then some just started falling in my lap. I had salesmen call me from dealerships, hey, can you swing over here? And so 6 a day is what? 30, right? I ended up with 27. That's probably the best week I've had since pre-pandemic, because I was in my own head. So just making those small discipline changes, and heck, I lost some sleep because I go out work out in the morning. So what? I go to bed early sometimes. That's how I make up for it. But I tell you what, the how I value myself, how I approach the lane, the confidence in the lane, it all came back because I got disciplined. Because when I got initially in security auto glass, I was wrestling. If you remember, I was still wrestling.
Yeah.
So disciplined eating habits, workout habits, my daily regimens was systematic, and that's what I think propelled me to that fast, quick start. And then I got the better of me, and then I realized I'm 36. I can't live like this anymore. I can't eat whatever I want, whenever I want. Like, I need to get, Danny, lack freaking discipline, dude. Like, get it together. And so looking ahead, I just wanted to be in that better position to where, you all right there, Lair?
Yeah, just got a little dust in my throat. Hold on, let me take a quick drink of my coffee here.
Swag
my
cup.
Yeti.
So I got into Larry, I got into make money. I got into gain financial freedom and do some amazing things. And I knew my value was worth more than I was at my other job, which is why I got on board. The struggles have been, we've moved, we've had marriage issues, we've had kid issues, we've had dealership issues, because not every dealership is perfect. You're going to have to deal with some crap. But if you're really good and confident at what you do and are there and they recognize your face and they know your name, you can get rid of all those issues. And at the end of the day, just by keeping this small little attitude I got going right now with this discipline, I know by the end of the year, it'll probably be my best year yet.
Yeah.
But it comes down to discipline.
Yeah, man, that is incredible. So one of the biggest takeaways I've gotten is daily goals. Forget the weekly goals. Just those are for the birds. Daily goals will get you there. I've heard that before, that a little plus a little plus a little equals a lot.
Yeah.
And setting a weekly goal, you have one bad Monday, then it's really hard to recover from that for the whole rest of the week. But if you discipline yourself for the daily habits, then you'll be very heavily rewarded. And I just think that is an incredible thing. To be independent, you got it. Like, there's no other mindset the marketplace will allow you to have. It's got to be like, I'm gonna set my little daily goal here. I'm gonna create my daily habits, because our habits will then create our future and what becomes of it. And then, like, in the meantime, the mindset behind it and being able to reframe, man, it's just this is incredible stuff. So any closing thoughts, brother?
Okay. Can I say one more thing though about those weekly goals? I just want to, whoever watches this, do not try to be Eric Schutte or Neil Ruffner. You will burn yourself out in a couple weeks. However, if you just reach your personal best every day, you can get close to their level. There's anomalies, which those two are. I mean, they are workaholics, workhorses, and they just are really good at what they do. And they have a great example, and they can teach you a bunch of stuff. Like, both guys can teach you so much as a new person, or if you've been on board, they have so much to offer. But for new people or people who've maybe been in a couple of years and you're struggling, don't try to be them. Be the best you. Work on your daily accountability. And if it's 4 a day, who cares? Like, I'd rather have a technician doing 4 a day than 10 a week and calling me and saying, man, I hope they get some cars in here. I'm hoping to do better today. Well, if you're hoping, you better off just staying home. So stop hoping and start coming up with a daily plan for yourself.
Okay, talk about that. So when you're hoping you're going to get a couple, when you're hoping you're going to get 5 or 6 sales versus saying to yourself, I'm going to get 7 sales. Talk about that difference real quick.
Oh, geez. So, and that was one I used during the pandemic too, Larry. I was just like, man, 20 cars. Hope I can get a few. And I'd get like 1, because the urgency wasn't there. Because, to be honest with you, as cool as a dealership it is, as laid as back as it is, you still have to have urgency, no matter if it's high volume or low. So hoping, all that does is that just burns your dreams for the day. That burns all motivation for the day. When you hope for something, you can make an excuse of why it didn't go right.
That's right. That's right. Hope is actually a really bad business strategy.
It is. So instead, I didn't hope this week. I just said, I'm getting 6 a day. And Monday, I only got 3. And I went home. I'm like, you know what? I did my best. I didn't get a single no. I sold 3 cars, 3 customers. I'm good. Because you can hang your hat on that. When you know you tried your hardest, you had to go. The next day I did 7. The next day I did 5. The next day I did 6. And I did 6 today. So it worked. And I did the experiment this week myself. Instead of hoping, I just said, here's what I'm going to hit today. I didn't say a number by Friday or Saturday. I wasn't worried about, why aren't my technicians doing more? I physically just worried about what I was doing, and then I encouraged my technicians and put them over throughout the week.
Yeah, that's perfect. Well, you've been doing an incredible job, man, and your consistency has been showing itself. I know our director of personnel has been bragging about you, and Brent has been like, dude, Dan's doing some good things. Like, he's been checking around, and so I appreciate your time, dude. I really appreciate it. I hopefully you guys, for the rest of the Swag fam, hopefully some of his words will ring true to you, and will provide you some inspiration and maybe a little bit of a roadmap to tweak some things, think about some things differently, reframe about what, how your value and what you're worth. Of course, this job is not perfect. But as we work together, this thing is not going to be stagnant. The job is consistent at what you do in the lane for sure, but like, this thing is going to some incredible heights. And your example of being consistent, reframing, being your own boss in the lane, reaching out for a reframe from Dan or whoever you're working with, whenever you feel like you need some help with that. I'm telling you, it's not going to go unnoticed, and it's not going to go without reward. And so I appreciate you guys so much, Dan. I appreciate your time, brother. And we'll have a good weekend, y'all. We'll see you on the boards.
All right. Peace.
Fire it up. See ya.